Imagine coming home from a 14-hour day, starving, exhausted, only to find a bunch of people eating the food you spent hours prepping. And they don't even care. But what if I told you I stopped them dead in their tracks with one disgusting lie and a whole lot of spaghetti? If you've ever felt walked all over, disrespected, or just wanted to get even, hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle in. Because today's story is one of the most petty, perfect, and pasta-fueled revenge stories you'll hear all week. My life was already hard enough. Being a full-time college student and working 40-plus hours a week wasn't just exhausting, it was soul-crushing. Most nights, I'd stumble through the dorm room doors somewhere between 10 p.m. and the midnight, my brain fried, my body aching, and one thing on my mind, food. But almost every time I opened the fridge, my shelf was empty. Again, all the Tupperware I had filled the night before, gone. My hard-earned meals vanished. And then I'd hear it, the giggles, the clinks of forks against bowls, the smell of my food wafting from the shared kitchen. And there they were, not just my roommate, but her two freeloading friends, standing around like it was a buffet they paid for. What made it worse? The audacity. They'd look me in the eyes while chewing my meals and say things like, "Ugh, this is so good, you should cook more. Wish you made a double batch. Hope you're not mad, just couldn't resist." I'd ask them, beg them to stop. Calmly at first, then sternly. I labeled everything, bought a mini fridge, tried keeping food in bags hidden behind other items. Nothing worked. They always found it, and they never cared. At one point, I realized I was spending more money replacing stolen food than I was on textbooks. And these weren't even my roommates. These were her friends, girls who'd never paid a cent for rent or utilities but treated our dorm like their personal cafeteria. I felt powerless, taken for granted, disrespected in my own space. Until one day, something in me snapped. I was home visiting my parents for the weekend when the idea hit. My dad, a bit of a prankster, was talking about the time he tricked his coworkers into thinking blood sausage was actual animal brain. They gagged for days. That's when the light bulb clicked. If I couldn't stop them from eating my food, maybe I could make them never want to touch it again. I got to work. I made an enormous bowl of spaghetti. But this wasn't your average dinner. I combined ground pork sausage and lean beef in a very specific way. Enough fat to make it squishy, with a texture that clung together just right. Then I overcooked the meat ever so slightly, so it looked suspicious, like something that maybe didn't belong in normal pasta. I added spices and sauce, mixed it up, and chilled it just like I normally would. Oh, and I left it right in the middle of the fridge, front and center, a tempting prize. Sure enough, I come back to the dorm that Monday night, bone-tired, keys jingling in my hand. And what do I see? The three food thieves standing in the kitchen, stuffing their faces. The bowl of spaghetti, almost empty. And just as predictably, one of them turns to me, mouth full, and says, "Oh my God, this is your best meal yet. What is this meat? It's so soft and different." I smiled. The moment had come. Straight-faced, I said, "Oh yeah, it's a common farm recipe from where I grew up. That meat, it's head cheese." She blinked. "What's that?" I let the silence hang for a second. Then I said, dead serious, "Pig brains, cooked and blended. Pretty nutritious, actually. Most of my meals use pig brains. That's why they taste different." Her eyes widened. She stared at the bowl in her hands like it had morphed into a horror movie prop. She dropped it instantly. Clatter, splat. Then she bolted, sprinting to the bathroom like her life depended on it. I could hear her retching hard, like her soul was trying to escape. The other two girls, pale as ghosts. One whispered, "Oh my God," and then they were gone. Out the door, not a word. I stood there in the quiet, the smell of marinara still lingering in the air, trying not to laugh. The best part? They never touched my food again. In fact, they never even spoke to me again. Not even a hi in the hallway. It was like I became radioactive. My fridge shelf, safe, pristine, beautifully untouched for the rest of the semester. And that spaghetti? Just regular pork and beef. But they'll never know that. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or aggressive, it's smart, it's subtle, and it lingers. They disrespected my time, my work, my space. All I did was serve them exactly what they had been asking for, a delicious meal with a very memorable ingredient. If this story made you smile or get ID, smash that like button and drop a comment. What's the pettiest revenge you've ever pulled off? And don't forget to subscribe for more satisfying stories, served with a side of justice.